Hello Year 5, in today's science lesson we're going to be looking at sexual reproduction in animals. So we've looked at sexual reproduction before when we looked at plants. And plants sexually reproduce through a process called pollination. So if you remember, the bee or the insect comes to flower A, which is over here, to drink some of the nectar, and in that process he manages to get some of these pollen bits stuck to his body or his bottom. Then he flies onto another plant. These pollen bits from flower A go on to flower B, and they go down this part of the plant, which is the stigma, into the ovule, and in there they make a seed, which then can grow into another flower, and that is how plants sexually reproduce. So let's have a look at how animals sexually reproduce. So like plants, animals have male and a female sex cell. So in the case of the plant, the pollen was the male and the ovule inside the plant was the female sex cell. In mammals, for example, and mammals here, I've put a picture to help you. That's any animal that gives birth to live young. They have a sperm, which is a male sex cell, and an egg, which is the female sex cell. And when those two parts join together, the process is called fertilization. And there are two ways that that can happen. Either internally, which means inside, so that would be called internal fertilization, or externally, which means outside of the body, and that is called external fertilization. Let's have a look at some examples of each of the different types of fertilization in animals then. So for example, a dog. So dogs mate, and that's when the male sex cell is transferred into the female. The sex cells come together, they combine, and then new life, a puppy starts to grow inside the womb, which is that part of the female dog. And then after about 9 weeks, which is how long dogs are pregnant for, depending on the mammal, it could be more time. I know humans, it's 9 months. Elephants, it's way longer than that. So it just depends on the size of the mammal. She will give birth to her live young, her offspring. And in this case, because she's a dog, she'll give birth to baby dogs called puppies. Okay, external fertilization this time. Fish reproduce by external fertilization. So I've used this picture from Finding Nemo, if you remember right at the beginning of the film. If you've ever seen it, the female lays the eggs, and then the male comes along and releases his sex cell on top of them, which is how they combine. Then the female covers them up to protect them. So in the film, she puts them in this little cave to protect them, but in real life, they might bury them under sand, or they might put gravel on top of them, and then they grow, and then when they're ready, they hatch out of the egg. So the female doesn't give birth to the babies, not like a dog. They hatch out of the egg when they're ready. So here we've got a bird. Now, birds lay eggs, we know that. They put them in the nest, and when they're ready, they hatch. However, just because an animal lays eggs, like a bird, it doesn't mean that they've fertilized their eggs externally. In the case of birds, for example, like dogs did and like other mammals have to do, they do mate, and that's how the female and male sex cell combine. And then once the female's ready, she'll lay her eggs and they hatch outside of the body. So lots of different ways that animals reproduce. So your task today is to produce your own Carroll diagram to show how different animals reproduce. So we've got here, gives birth to live young, doesn't give birth to live young, so for example lays eggs, fertilises internally inside the body, fertilises externally outside the body. So let's have a look at the 3 animals that we looked at today. Starting with my kingfisher. Now, kingfisher is a species, a type of bird. So, gives birth to live young. Well, it doesn't. It lays eggs. So, it's going to be on this section of the Carroll diagram. Fertilises internally inside the body. Yes, it does. So, we'll leave it there. Okay. Labrador then, our dog. Gives birth to live young. Yes, it does. Fertilises internally. Yes, it does. So, we'll leave this one here. Clownfish. Again, a clownfish, a species of a fish. Gives birth to live young. No, it doesn't. It lays eggs, so it's going to be in this section. Fertilises internally. No, it doesn't. It fertilises externally, so it's going to go here in the Carroll diagram. So what I'd like you to do today, you can use pictures like I have, that's completely fine. Or if you want to type, that's fine too. I'd like you to put in as many animals as you can find into your own Carroll diagram, using the internet to find out about how they reproduce. Do the 3 that we've done today to start you off, and then do about 3 other animals. If you need me, just send me a little message, and I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I hope I can see you all soon. Bye.